Hey all, it's me, Vivian from ThePaperLetterBlog, also known as the Chatty Pen Pal channel, and today I'm going to do a pen pal with me video where I show you all sorts of fun little projects that I'm going to put inside the suitcase. Now, first of all, if you haven't made a suitcase yet, don't worry, I actually uploaded a tutorial on how to do this step by step in real time on Tuesday. So if you'd like to make one, you can do so by watching that video. And if you don't want to make a paper suitcase, again, don't worry, because you can use the ideas that I'm showing you in today's video with or without suitcase. I hope they're fun for any type of pen pal mail. Now I will explain a little bit more about the mail that I am, the reason why I'm sending this mail in a second, but first let me quickly explain what the first little project is we are going to do. A little while ago I received a letter from my pen pal Cheryl, and she made a tiny notebook for me. Now I have to admit that I'm basically a stationery store at this point. I think I have around 25 unused notebooks, so I wouldn't have to buy any new ones for the upcoming 50 years, but I thought it would be fun to make something similar. Hopefully the receiver does not have 25 notebooks like I do, and then also, even if she does have a lot of notebooks, I thought a small notebook might be fun, not just for using for yourself, but also for sending out as a letter. So the idea is that if you have a long letter to write, you can also write it in the notebook. So the first thing I did is I went into my supply of lined, grid and dot pages, and I picked a few that I thought would make a nice combination. So all of them are different, and that is what I like, simply because I have a thing for lined and grid pages. I don't know why, but they make me really happy. So I thought maybe the receiver likes different pages as well. So that's the first thing I did. I cut them somewhat to size. All of them are the same size except for two, because they were too narrow. I just thought I'm gonna leave it like that because I think it will still be okay. And then I am going to sew the pages into the notebook with the sewing machine, and that does not go flawlessly because I think I don't know what happened, but basically the thread damaged the cover a little bit, but that's fine because I was planning on making a spine anyway. But I don't know how to fix that, so if any of you sewing machine ladies know what I did wrong, please do tell me. Anywho, this mail, while I'm going to this is, here you can see what I did wrong. This is the inside, I think, looks fine and it works like a notebook, but then the thread is somewhat pulled through the paper, so I think it's a tension problem, but I don't know how to fix it. Or maybe it's just that you're not supposed to sew this many pages together. I don't know. If you are thinking, wow, this lady is all over the place, that is correct, because I'm trying to not redo my voiceover today. I did that also a while back in another video, I don't remember which one, because usually I redo my voiceover a lot of times. It's a lot of takes. I did just restart my voiceover because I accidentally smacked into my microphone. You may know from live streams that's very loud, so I'm not gonna make you suffer through that. But other than that, I'm trying to do a no redo voiceover because well, truth be told, I've been stressed lately. I've been anxious lately. I haven't been like super happy in my own skin, if that makes sense. And I also worry about YouTube more then. And then I thought I need to go back to basics, go back to being my messy old self, not worry about like perfect videos because they're not perfect and perfect doesn't suit me. So then why would I try to make a perfect voiceover? Anywho, I tried to tell this story 6 times already. Yeah, we're going to die cut some things. I cannot link the dies because they're from, I don't remember where, some of them from AliExpress, some of them from other stores, but I will link things like my die cutting machine and everything down below so that you can purchase them if you like. If you've already watched the suitcase tutorial, you will already know. But over on Patreon in February, we did a props to myself for pronouncing February. Yeah, I did it right the previous time, February, and then I messed it up again. But I wanted to compliment myself for pronouncing it correctly. Very messy. Normally I would cut that out. But in February we did a travel themed challenge, because we do a monthly challenge, and then since the theme was travel, I also made a corresponding swap. And of course I thought I want to do something cool, and that's why I made the suitcase. And then of course I'm also going to make the content of the suitcase travel themed. Not everything is like 100% I cannot talk today. Not everything is like 100% on the nose travel, but for example this notebook has a globe on it, which I think is pretty travel themed. So this is basically my swap entry. I have to say I sent it out last week, but I don't think it will arrive for another few weeks because I sent it to India. Prajakta, if you're still here, you already knew this mail was for you, so you're spoiling your own fun. I sent it to Prajakta in India. I've sent her mail twice before. One of them didn't arrive, so oh my god, I'm like crossing all of my fingers, all of my toes that this mail does arrive. There's that. So this is basically my swap entry. It's a little bit bigger than the swap guidelines. I think my swap guidelines were that we had to create some sort of happy mail, so it could be a flip book, a tag flip, envelopes, I don't know, anything that you would consider happy. Oh yeah, another mistake. Lady makes another mistake. I glued the pocket on correctly, but on the wrong side of the flip book. So I made a pocket and it's actually upside down on the back instead of on the front. And since I used that really strong double-sided tape, I tore the paper. And then I just found a sticker and I put the sticker on there, and I figured, you know what? I'm not gonna worry about it. So if Prajakta watches this, then she will know why there's a really random sticker in the back of the flip book. But if she doesn't watch it, she may just think that it's a design choice. So the guidelines were to make some sort of happy mail, and then it had to be around 60 grams. I like working with grams. I know some people might find it weird, but it really helps to know how big a mail is so that you don't send something small and receive something very big, or vice versa. So mine is a little bit bigger simply because I don't know. I thought there could be like some sort of an extra, what am I saying? An extra incentive for people to join the swaps. And honestly, I just wanted to make a paper suitcase, so I went from there. Then if you watched my, I forgot what I called it, but that pocket, layered pocket thing with the vellum cover, you will see that I printed vellum with map pages, and I actually test printed it first, and this is the test print because the original image I was trying to print had different colors, but my printer was malfunctioning and it printed the page really pink, because the original page is more like pastel colored and it wasn't supposed to be super pink. But I kind of liked this really weird pink map, so I figured I would save it and then use it for something else. So what I did is I drew a triangle on some like waste paper that I had thrown away. I just needed it for a template so that I could make 5 flags all the same size. So I just drew a triangle flag basically, and I made 5 different flags. 2 of them from that weird pink map paper, and then 3 are from the pink Paisley Paige Evans Horizon paper pad. I already mentioned this in the suitcase. I keep losing the word for suitcase. Koffer in Dutch. It's a koffer. Sounds weird, right? The suitcase tutorial, but Pink Paisley is a brand that has a paper pad that is all like travel themed. And I purchased it because it can be quite difficult to get these types of things, these types of brands here in the Netherlands. So when I saw a 12 by 12 paper pad, I decided to get it because you never get that chance again. And then I realized that the colors are not necessarily my thing, and the travel theme is not necessarily my thing. So I had this paper pad for a couple of months and I never really used it. But now that we're doing the travel theme, obviously I'm going to use it. And I kind of fell in love with it because it's so different from my usual style. I realized that I quite enjoy it. And also, as you can see the suitcase on the left corner, there are some pages in there that I absolutely love, such as the postcard paper. I mean, hello, that's perfect for me, right? Speaking of using things that you really, really love, that's actually the... Oh, I'm in the background, before you worry. In the background, I'm just decorating the flags. I'm going to make some sort of a... Is it called a bunting? Like a flag line that she can hang up. That was the idea. And then I cut out these words from one of the pages, and it says seize the day, because another one was see the world or travel the world, and that felt, I don't know, I liked seize the day better because for some reason travel the world gives a lot of pressure. I'm sensitive for those kind of things. But over on Patreon, I gave myself mainly the challenge to use what I have, and not just in terms of not buying new things, but also in terms of using my favorite pages. I think half of you listening will understand me perfectly, and the other half will be like, why would you not use your favorite pages? But I find it difficult to use the pretty things. I will purchase a paper pad, and the paper pad will usually have a couple pages that that are like okay, not my favorites, and then a couple pages that I like, and then a couple pages that I love. The pages that I love usually stay in the paper pad. I will always think I need a better reason to use them, I need a better project to use them. It's such a shame to use them, and that is kind of stupid because, for example, the postcard page that I made the suitcase out of is obviously my favorite from this paper pad, and using it brought so much joy while I've like passed it for so many projects. Like I've done I think 4 projects with these papers, and I always wanted to use the postcard page, and every time I said no, I will find a better use for it. This story is very rambly, but basically I'm challenging myself this month to use my favorite supplies and not feel guilty about it. Just they're meant to be used. And like I said, I think half of you will understand where I'm coming from. I've spoken to a lot of people who also have trouble using the pretty supplies. I'm even guilty of sometimes purchasing paper twice so that I can use one without feeling guilty because I still have another one. That's bad, right? And I think half of you, the other half, will be like, Vivian, what the heck? Why? So let me know in the comments down below, which are you team use or are you team hoard? I'm curious. I'm trying to be team use. I need to be because I'm drowning in craft supplies. Okay, warning for those of you who are crafting and not watching. I'm currently petting Sage on the screen. I've told you this before, but I have a big desk now because I have the best dad in the world and he made me a huge desk. And I placed Sage's pillow underneath my tripod because there is a ton of space and I don't use that space. So I put her pillow there, and Sage is my cat, by the way, not a baby or not a person. Sage sleeps on the pillow when I'm crafting sometimes. It's so sweet. She doesn't really allow me to pet her too much. Like when she's there, she usually just wants to sleep. But I get to look up and see a kitty cat, and that makes me so happy. Again, rambly, but I think some of you will know what I mean. Then I'm going back into the paper pad. Let me talk about this meal for a little bit because sometimes people are annoyed that I talk about other things. But we're going back with a second project, and this is actually really fun. I have done something similar a while back. The first thing you do is you make or you get 2 envelopes. So I'm making them because duh, I want to use this pretty paper, but if you want to use envelopes that you already have, that's totally fine. And then you're going to actually glue them together. But since I used single-sided pages, I figured I would first decorate the inside a little bit because I do not really like the white pages. Sometimes I don't mind. This time I did mind. So what I end up doing is watercoloring. I make a mistake because I'm like happily watercoloring both of them. I like one of them a lot and the other one I like okay. And then I realize, of course, you're not going to see both of them because one of them will be covered by the flap of the other envelope. But luckily, I found a solution. Okay, wait. Okay, so I tried to link the supplies I used down below, and then you can click the link, which is easy for you, and it helps me because I get a super small commission. But this watercolor pan I actually cannot find. I do know the brand, I do know the name, but I can't find it on Amazon. I quite hate Amazon, to be honest. It's quite difficult to find things. The brand is called Prima Marketing and the pan is called Pastel Dreams, if I'm not mistaken. I have found a similar pan from the same brand, same size and everything, and I will link that down below. That might help you find it, hopefully. So there's that. And then when I realized that one of the pages would be covered up with the flap of the other envelope, I decided just to cut off the flap. Solve the problem, so then you can see both of the watercolor designs. And then the other flap, the flap of the suitcase envelope, is stuck on the back of the floral envelope. And this is a super simple project. Like I said, I have made one before a little while ago. It's super simple, but I think it looks really, really fun and has a ton of space for goodies. You can put the letter in one envelope with some tea, and then you can fill the bottom envelope with a ton of goodies. I decided to make mine flipping up. Sorry for my head again. I decided to make mine flipping up because I realized that the design of the suitcases was facing that way. I was originally planning on making it open sideways, like a little book. But then because the design wouldn't work, I just decided to make it flipping up, and I think that's kind of fun as well. So do with that information what you will. You can make it flip up or like a book open to the side. I'm decorating the front with a really simple die cut. I think this is supposed to be like a luggage tag, and I really like that idea, you know, travel themed luggage tag. So I used that to decorate the front, and then I glued the entire tag down except for the left part so that you could like freely move the thread that I used to close it with around. You can take it out. It's not like the thread isn't glued in place. Then, pro tip for all of you looking for a jelly roll or a white pen, not sponsored, but honestly, best pen I ever purchased. It's a jelly roll from Sakura, Japan. They're incredibly smooth. They work so well. I want to doodle everything on all of the pages. I will link it down below. Okay, I apologize to my patrons because I know we're doing a no spend challenge and I keep telling you about all these things you have to purchase. That little box you saw just held everything that I was using for this project. I still had the See the World from the tag, the flags, I mean. I liked that, but I wanted it to be in craft paper, so I am die cutting some craft paper. I have all of these little letters, and I am just die cutting them. Interesting. And then I'm going to write with that on the flip book. My computer cannot handle this. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so some of the footage is like super sped up and my computer cannot deal. This computer is like 3 or 4 years old and it's dying on me. But I'm back now. I decided to go for the See the World theme because I was going with the suitcases. I know I said before that that can feel a little bit like pressure, but I also realized that I am getting to travel kind of through letters, so I'm just focusing on that right now. I have to admit, I'm not much of a world traveler. Like, I like holidays, but I am not necessarily... I don't know if I would travel the world if I could. So I don't know if I'm like really missing out on a lot, but I know for many it's kind of tough not getting to travel and see the world. But I thought it was fun nonetheless. And like I said, we still get to travel through our meal. And I know that's not what you want to hear, but it does feel like that sometimes. Then I'm using Nuvo Drops to decorate the front a little bit more because of course I only used the die cut. and I'm just using various colors because I thought that would add a fun touch. And now I need to let it dry because I always manage to smudge them. And while that is drying, we are going to finish the flag line, bunting, whatever. I have this pink thread or twine or whatever you call it. It's actually knitting yarn, if I'm fully correct. And what I did is I made little knots for the first and last flag so that they would stay in place. Because the thread is quite thick, the middle ones don't really move in place either. They are not set in place, but they don't move anyway. I'm sorry for the light. It's kind of weird because I forgot to turn off my little lamp, my desk light, so that gives a weird orange glow, but yeah, we're just gonna have to make do. I am also putting some Nuvo Drops on the inside of the flipbook because I'm kind of obsessed with them. Again, not sponsored, but I just add them to all of my projects. And then, yeah. Oh yeah, I also add more things to the flipbook that I made off camera. The circle embellishments we made with we made during a live stream with my patrons a while back, travel themed, so of course I had to include a few. And then I also made the tiny words. I typed out some tiny words on my typewriter and I cut them to size and I put them in a little gift baggie. I did that in the Patreon video, so if you haven't seen that, yeah, I don't usually add goodies that I've made off camera, but because they were travel themed and kind of perfect, I decided that it would be fun to add them. Also because this is a Patreon project and those things we made during Patreon videos. I die cut a piece of a map with a little envelope die. I love these types of dies because they make a simple envelope look fun and it's quite easy. And I'm simply adding a sticker, a craft paper sticker on there, and that says embellishments. I think I wrote embellishments. I didn't want to decorate the envelope because it's already quite busy with the world map, and then if I don't decorate it, she can reuse it simply by peeling off the sticker or covering up the sticker or something else. And then I'm going to add the leftover letter dies. I think I die cut world twice, so I'm just adding them in the envelope, and then some of the things I cut out, and then some of the globes that she can assemble herself. I just added a couple of different color variations and stuff. I also received a map what is it called? A map paperclip. Yes, thank you. A map paperclip. So I decided to add that in there. Perfect. Perfect opportunity. And a while back, a long time ago, when I still did the Paper Gang unboxings, they gave us airplane paper clips, so of course I had to use those. I was quite happy I remembered because it would be quite me to forget that I had them and then find them after the filming of this video. So this is the little suitcase the way we made it in the previous video. Again, if you would like to make one, I highly recommend you check out my video. And then here are the contents all together. This is the envelope flipbook that we made. I'm just going to call it envelope flipbook, and filled with little goodies. We have the tiny notebook. I also put some little tags on the inside, some travel themed and some not. And then we have a little postcard of a suit, or not a suitcase, but it said something with France, so I thought that was like kind of travel themed. And then I'm also going to show you what is inside the flipbook, just in case it went a little bit too fast. My original idea was to put some crepe paper or tissue paper on the inside of the suitcase because I thought that would look fun. I decided not to, after all, because I thought it might also be a little bit messy and because it might be a little bit overkill. So in the flipbook we have my letter, which I of course wrote after, and the craft paper stickers. We have the little bunting flag line that we made, the envelope with all little embellishment kits, the embellishments we made during the Patreon stream. These are the tiny words that I typed on my typewriter on some vintage paper. They say all sorts of things from explore to snail mail to hello or something like that, so you can use them for decorating mail. Another little die cut embellishment that we made, and then of course the paper clip 2 paper clips actually. And that is it. I really enjoyed making this project. I might actually work with travel themed again in the future, who knows. I hope you enjoyed this as well. If you did, you know what to do. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you like, share it with your friends, share it to Pinterest. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram because I post a ton of pictures and I would love to see you there. And feel free to check out my Patreon if you're interested in more content and or supporting the channel. Okay, talk to you soon. Big thank you to my patrons and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye bye.